Workshop aims at providing the steps and tips which will help you understand how to make a short film. So without any further delay, may I invite Raj Kumar Bandila, Assistant Coordinator Public Relations, to welcome the gathering.
Thank you, Sona. Resource person for today, Mr. Taslim Khan, Honorable Chairman, Board of Directors of Indian Schools in Oman, esteemed Directors of the Board of Directors of Indian Schools in the Sultanate of Oman, President, Indian School Muscat Management Committee, Vice President, Convener, Treasurer, Co-Convener, and esteemed members of Indian School Muscat Management Committee, principals of all participating schools, our Honorable Principal, Dr. Rajiv Kumar Chauhan, Senior Vice Principal Administration, Vice Principals, Assistant Vice Principals, Heads of Departments, teachers, parents, and my dear friends. Good evening, one and all. At the outset, on behalf of Indian School Muscat and the entire Indian fraternity, we express our sincere gratitude and great appreciation to His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq for his magnanimous benevolence towards the Indian community. May the Almighty bless this great nation with harmony and everlasting affluence. We are privileged to welcome Mr. Taslim Khan, the most versatile and creative short film director, as a resource person this evening. Since 2013 till date, Sir has showcased his expertise by choosing relevant content for his audience worldwide. Urvagal, a short film on expats, won several accolades and was among the 1,300 films all over the world in ISFF2022. Sir proves to be a versatile director, and his 2016 short film Mezugu was exceptionally a masterpiece which won him the greatest of all the awards, the Dada Saheb Phalke Film Award. Happiness, Generation of Love is a silent film that won him recognition at the French Film Festival. The list is endless, and the latest of all, Ayudham Pazagu, was selected for First Oman India short film. Sir has made us proud worldwide through his representation at Norway Film Festival, French Film Festival, Kochi Metro GCC Film Festival, Emirates Short Film Festival, International Film Festival, International Public Advertising Festival, and yet more on the way. We are pleased to welcome you in our midst. A cordial welcome, sir. It's our pride and pleasure to extend a warm welcome to the Honorable Chairman and esteemed directors on the Board of Directors of Indian Schools in the Sultanate of Oman to today's virtual seminar on short filmmaking. Our heartfelt welcome, sir and ma'ams. This evening has become all the more significant with the support and virtual presence of our President, Vice President, Convener, Treasurer, Co-Convener, and esteemed members of Indian School Muscat Management Committee. A cordial welcome, sirs and ma'ams. We warmly welcome the honorable principals of all the participating schools to today's short filmmaking live workshop. Welcome, sirs and ma'ams. It gives me great pleasure to welcome our great visionary educational leader, Dr. Rajiv Kumar Chauhan, whose expertise and meticulous guidance has always led us to the zenith of success. Welcome, sir. We warmly welcome our ever-supportive Senior Vice Principal Administration, Vice Principals and Assistant Vice Principals of various sections, heads of various departments, and teachers who are a constant source of encouragement and motivation to us. Welcome, sirs and ma'ams. Last but not the least, a warm welcome to all the students who are here to participate in an enriching and engaging session ahead. Thank you. Over to you, Afaf.
Thank you, Rajkumar. Before we begin with the session, kindly note that our resource person will take up your questions at the end of the session. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Taslim Khan to take us through the session. Over to you, sir.
Good evening, my dear creators. I hope you're all listening to me now. Can you all hear me? Yeah. Great. Yeah, can we start? Guys, can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay. Nice to see you all. And I would just like to give you a small overview how I have become a creator without any background experience of filmmaking. So when a person like me who can, without any background experience can do short films and win a lot of awards. So I thought I would just share my experiences, what all good or bad, so that probably when you take a short film, you might not miss out all this. So to begin with, I mean, in a short film, where do we start? We start with a story. What do we call as a story? A story, an idea and a concept to communicate visually. Now, when you start a film, immediately what do you think? You have to have your own team and your own group and think, what am I going to say? And please always have a notebook and just write down that this is the story which I'm going to communicate to the audience. This is very important. It may be a one line. We always say in a filmmaking, your one line is the main line to start with. It can be anything, but start with one line. This is the communication which I'm going to do. Okay, this is the story. Now, after you go with the story, agree with your team. This is what I am going to say. Then what is next in terms after the story we call about is screenplay. A lot of people get confused about what is a screenplay and what exactly we are talking about in terms of screenplay. Screenplay is nothing. You just need to connect the scenes. That's very important on that. So what are you going to say on the scenes? You have, imagine if you do a film, after the film, in case there is one story, you have 2 to 3 scenes or 3 to 4 scenes, you need to connect that. It should not go, it should not, suppose if you have one story where you start with the film, immediately when the next scene happens, after the next scene, how do you connect the 2 scenes? It should not be irrelevant to this and the other scenes. So you have to connect each scene in a proper methodology so that you don't get lost. So that's why we call as a screenplay. So after you write the story, you should tell your team, this is my scene 1, this is my scene 2, this is my scene 3, and this will be my climax. After that, if talk to your team, talk to yourself, saying that, am I connecting this scene to this scene? When the scene transits from one scene to the other, there should be a link. This is what we call as a chain. So when you do that, immediately people will understand there is no lag in that particular film. So that's why we call as, after a story, screenplay is very, very important. In that, people will see, and okay, you don't have any lag in that film. So this is how it's very important to have a screenplay. So what I say, screenplay is nothing but linking the every scene. If you take one scene, for example, and the very next scene has to be a connection in terms of a story or in terms of a dialogue, in terms of a scene, which has to connect. This is what we call as screenplay. We don't need to, much worry about that, but you have to worry exactly, am I writing my proper screenplay? But also in a short film, you get very less time to convey your message or convey your story, right? In that case, what happens? You should immediately, see whether when I am reading this scene to the scene, yes, I am able to connect. When you do that, means you are through with your screenplay. Always do a brainstorming session among your own team members, then you will understand, talk to each other, then you will be freezing. Also in a short film, what happens, don't elongate your scenes. Always, I don't know if it is a 7-minute short film or 10-minute short film, which you're going to have it right now, try to break down maximum of 4 scenes, maximum 4 or 5, or less than 5. What happens if you just keep too many scenes, then people will say what exactly he is trying to say, I am unable to understand. Also, if you keep 2 scenes in one film, it will be too long, then people will get, really bored of that. I hope you got about the screenplay, what exactly I was trying to say. So we will move to the next topic is about casting. What is casting? See, here is very important in a film. After you do the screenplay and the story, your casting is very important. You need to see how many characters I am going to have it in this film. All right. So now you have like 4 characters or 5 characters. You have to make sure whoever is the captain of the ship, a director, and the team, yes, this guy will be able to justify the particular character. And you have to make sure that you may have good friends, okay? You might see, okay, he's my friend, I want him to put it in this particular character and I want him to do this film. No, don't do that. Don't compromise on that particular thing. You have casting is the most important thing because they are the one who is going to carry your story to the audience. That's very important. So make sure that you don't compromise on your casting and just go for it, go for frequent auditions and then go for it. And also don't try to crowd, in terms of the scene, whatever the scene requires, you just make sure that for that particular scene, that particular characters are very important. I hope you got about what I was talking about in terms of casting. Now, once you derive on the casting, story, screenplay, right? You have to see in each scene what is the location I am going to take this film. Interior, exterior. Okay, if you say interior, what is the mood of the scene? What am I going to convey in that particular scene? So if it is a house, if it is an apartment, whatever it is, just make sure that you fill the elements on that particular scene. For example, you are going to shoot, a father and son talking in a hall. So when you say in a hall, what is required in a hall in a natural way, you need to make sure that you set up a sofa, you set up the particular elements, what you see in the house, you have in that, you fill it up with that particular thing. Try to make it slightly colorful so that because you're going to convey the story in means of a visual media, right? So it should look nice. So fill up with some multiple colors on the backdrop and with some photo frames, screens, vases, make it very nice in terms of the location. And also if you go for exterior, outdoor location, make sure that you go on the right time. See, always we never shoot in the mid-sun because when the sun is on the top, you get a shadow on your face, you can't get it. Normally we go in the mornings or in the late evenings. So whichever location you select, please make sure that this location is matching to your scene which you have created. So don't go for some, okay, I didn't get any particular location, I'm just going and shoot for that. No, never do that. So when you write the story, scene, and this is connecting in terms of screenplay, please write down, this is the location I am going to shoot. Go for, location hunting, which we call it recce. Go each location. Convince yourself as a team, as a director's team, have a look. Always before the camera, your eyes are the best camera you can have it. I mean, looking at a proper visual. Set up the proper elements, which we call as art production. Check everything is fine. You are happy, then freeze the location. This is the location I'm going to shoot. Always remember, shooting is not just take a camera, shoot, edit. No. Please always do a paperwork. Write down, take a paper. We call it a storyboard as well. Take a paper. Write your name, story line. Write the scenes. Then go for the location. Everything write down in the paper. When you write down everything in the paper, you will never ever miss anything. So for example, scene 1, this is the location, this is the dialogues, these are the characters. All this, if you write it down in each scene, you will go smoothly and without any issues, you will be shooting it across. I hope I covered what exactly I was talking about location. Please make sure that location are the best because visual medium when people are having the communication of dialogues, your background also has to be good. If it is a late evening, late night scene, and the late evening, sure, you make sure that there is a light glowing up. So you know that people, okay, this is the night scene where the communication is happening on the night. I hope I have covered in terms of locations. Okay, after the location, the costumes are very important. And see what happens, people say, okay, my dialects are good, my everything is fine, but am I doing a proper costumes? That's very important. What exactly we're talking about costumes? Imagine in a scene where you are in a house and there's a dialogue happening between parents, children, or something like that. Let's imagine that. Make sure that you wear what you wear in the home, but nice color. Always try to have a mix and match color of the costumes. Like example, for a father character, you can have a different color. Mother character, a son character, and a different color costumes. What happens? It will give a good, appealing, feel. You can mix and match the costumes and have a look how it is looking with the locations. So when you go to the locations, if you know that this is where I'm going to shoot, wear the dress, be in the location, take a photograph, and have a look, discuss with the team. You will see the visual backdrop is good. Yes, the costumes are matching. It looks very nice. You can do a test shoot or you can take a photograph. It will give a clear picture that yes, I have done a good costumes, good locations, good screenplay, and this will. Imagine if you select a wrong costumes, people will say there is a logic issue. I have seen many films, people, earlier when I was judging in the short films, in the evening, the people are talking, one gentleman is wearing a coat suit, full shoe in the house, and mother is in a full makeup, full party dress, and talking in the late evening just like that. So it's a logical error. Maybe they would like to present in the film in a very good manner, but what happens, logically it is wrong. So kindly make sure that what is the scene and what do you require for that particular scene, wear that. So that's very important in terms of costumes. As we were just talking about the location, as you said, properties. What do we call as properties? Properties, as I just told you, in a hall, what is required? If it's a classroom, what is required? Exactly fill the particular properties exactly on that location. So that will make a good impact on the particular scene. Again, mix and match the color, some kind of nice things. That will look very beautiful on the presentation, like a mirror, like a, some kind of carpet, some kind of stuff. So this will become very nice. So again and again, I'm going back to the same thing. When you do the planning, kindly write it down, properties. So when you go for the shoot, when you go for the scene one, whoever is your director's, assistant director's team, you are going to the scene one, you should make sure that you have the dialogue paper, you have count the properties. These are the properties I require. Tick the box. Exactly, I have everything with me right now. Let me go to the scene, peacefully have a shoot. So this all by experience. I'm saying after you go to the scene and the shooting spot, you will, oh my God, I forgot to bring the table, a vase. I forgot to bring this. I forgot to bring the costumes. These things happen. So kindly make sure that whatever properties required to fill the particular scene, make sure it's there. Right, guys? Okay. Then what do we call as makeup? And kindly make sure this is a film. Film is what? Again, in my previous experience in the short film competitions, when you communicate, you have to be very natural. So your makeup has to be very natural. You don't need to fill with a lot of powders and mascaras and things like that and overdo it so that I will look very nice. No, kindly never ever do that. Just make sure that you clean your face properly, apply makeup, what is required for the camera, whether I am looking good. Again, before taking the shot, take a photograph, take a small test shoot, and see yourself in the screen, whether how am I looking. See in a big screen. If you have a laptop, anything, connect, just copy it, see it immediately, and you will know how am I looking. Please don't overdo, be very natural, go for a good clean stuff. It will look very beautiful in the camera and in the film as well, right? Again, what is the scene required? Just go for that particular stuff. I think I missed one of the slides in the up called dialogues. See, in the dialogues, once you read this, write the scene, write the particular screenplay, you know what is the scene. On that particular scene, whatever is required, you have to write that particular dialogues and communicate among yourself and see whether this scene, these dialogues are right. Okay. You don't need to overdo. You just need to see, okay, what if in a scene where you wanted to see your teacher or a guest coming to the house, a guest is coming to the house and you are receiving the guest and you are starting the conversation. Imagine this is a scene, right? What is the dialogues? Okay, now somebody is coming. Hi, uncle, how are you? Yeah, ma, fine, thank you. How is your studies going on? That's a natural way of dialogues. So keep talking about that. When you talk, record yourself, then write the dialogues. Who is the character? Write the dialogue and start communicating with your team, and you will know that these dialogues are convincing for that particular scene. But that particular scene, when you write the dialogues, kindly make sure that this particular scene, whatever dialogues you have written, whether it is relevant to that particular scene, and also whether it is leading to the next scene, which we call as a link of the scene, which is screenplay, right? So that particular scene has to consist of dialogues, which is you are saying exactly what is going to happen in the particular scene to the point, plus you are connecting to a lead to the next particular scene. So this has to be the dialogues. Always kindly make sure that when you write the dialogues, let's be very, it's a very communicative. Don't use some kind of a TOEFL English or IELTS English. No need that. If it is in any other language, it is in your own language, not a problem at all. Go for it. I think in the short film competition, the language shouldn't be a problem unless you have the subtitles for that. And also I have seen many people, even I have done this mistake when I started my short film career, because I come from a drama background. People try to, say the dialogues in a very high pitch and a very, for example, I'll tell you a dialogue. Okay, hey, what are you doing, man? I mean, hey, guys, come, let's go for a party. This is a kind of a normal dialogues. But when you put a camera and you ask the character to speak the dialogue, immediately we say, let's go for the party. People, tend to talk in a very hyperactive manner. This is where the directors and the cameraman and your team has to make sure the actors just act. They don't do a dramatic version of it. In the drama period, when we used to do a drama on a stage, you have to actually scream so that the audience listen to your dialogue. So you be like a hyper when you do a drama. But in a filmmaking, you have to react. Acting is what? Is a reacting. You just react in such a way, what is happening between you guys, you are going to shoot in a camera. That's it. So make sure your dialogues are very simple, very communicable. Just talk, take, and finish it off. That's all it is. Okay. This is, I think I missed this in the slide. I just thought I will inform you on this. After you finish everything, okay, people don't do that. Okay, take your time. Each scene, do practice. Rehearsals and planning is very important. Okay, you have to do that. What is my scene? You have written it. You have written the dialogues. You have done everything. Now here, when you do the rehearsal and the planning, here the most important guy has to be in the picture is my cinematographer. We call it the cameraman or the cinematographer. So what happens when you're planning a scene one, let's say there's a communication happening between few people, okay? After you do that, so let's say in one sofa, few people are there, another sofa, other people are there. Now, after you plan the scenes, you have to go for the shot. We call it a shot division. What do? You have to plan your shots. Now, when this guy is communicating, okay, I have to keep my camera on the other side and you can have two types of the other shots where you can keep the camera on his face when the dialogues are happening, or you can keep behind your head or your shoulder as a shoulder shot. And also when you plan the shots, imagine if your eye level on the sofa when you are showing a wide shot, two people are communicating, the camera has to be on the same position of where the guy is communicating from the other side. What happens? Imagine you are going to open a scene in the wide scene where two people are communicating, right? Let's say both are sitting. Imagine the guy is talking to the person like this on the face-to-face. What will happen? It's an important dialogue is happening. You can't show the camera on the top in like this, that your eye level is different. So when both people are communicating, the camera or very important dialogues, you can always keep on your eye level. So you can keep your camera on the ear level, or on your shoulder level, or on the camera on the front of your face. When you go for a close-up, that's a different. But when you're showing the shot of mid shots, kindly make sure your eye levels are straight. That's we call as shot. Okay, and shots and angles are very important. When I talk about the angles, there are plenty. Okay, but normally what happens in a short film, okay, we normally say, okay, you say the dialogue, let me shoot you. You say the dialogue, I will shoot you, and you get it. What happens? It will become like a monotonous. What do you need to do when you're opening a scene? Okay, always, as a new filmmakers, always what you do is you try to go with a wide angle. What we call as wide angle, on a full scene, saying that this is the scene where few people are communicating, and you have the camera on the wide, use a wide lens, so you see the whole hall, two people are communicating. So when you do this slight movement to that particular scene, it will travel like a scene where it is showing on the particular hall and two people have started communicating. You go with a wide angle, then start shooting the different angles. Always, if there is a lengthy dialogues, okay, like say you have a very important scene, you can't close the scene at 3 or 2 and 2.5 minutes. It's a very big communication is happening. Always remember this. You cannot keep the camera in a fixed place and ask both the people to communicate in the same angle. People will get bored. Okay. What you should do is always, when you have a dialogue, keep different shots. When you say mid shot, where you see in the up to the half with the two people communicating, so you have a mid shot where two people are on the side. Then go for the shots on the front and the back, on the head, and all same dialogues you can keep again shoot on your close-up shots. Also, when the in middle of communication, keep a wide angle shot. I'll tell you why. This is a small trip, or it's a tip or a trick we can say. In case when after you do a shooting, when you go to the editing table, sometimes you feel that, God, these expressions are not good. Something I didn't like as a director. What happens? This is the time where you can use this wide angle or the top angle to escape that. You got it? So when both are communicating, you are not liking it, immediately you can use this wide angle shot. So it can be on the straight wide or a cross wide or on the top shot. So what happens? You are actually indirectly cheating the audience. That's very important, so that your scene doesn't get wasted. Always when the people are judging, they'll see, okay, this guy has done any mistake, because there are a variety of people will be judging, a director point of view, a cinematographer point of view, or everything. They'll say, oh, see this guy, he didn't act properly. You yourself will know that. So when you know there's a mistake, how do you rectify? You cannot go back and shoot. So that's the reason you just take a long shots on the different angles just to make sure that in case if you do not like the acting or you have made some mistake, you can use these scenes, these angles to fill up. Regards the shots, regards the dialogues, and also the continuity of the particular scene. That's very important. When I say continuity, I'll tell you something. Even in the big films, still they make mistakes because people don't, take it very lightly. Suppose imagine you have a scene where you are talking in the hall and you are saying with your parents, you are going immediately. Let's say, come, let's go for a walk. You are in a dress on let's say black t-shirt, white pant. Your father character is wearing some kind of a night dress. And if your father is saying, come, let's go for a walk, and you take that particular scene, that now the second scene comes. This next scene, you might not shoot on the same day. You might shoot in the different day. You should make sure that same dresses, almost same makeups, whatever he was taking, but that particular scene, he has to carry forward on the next scene. This lots of people miss that. So that's what we do is before doing the shoot and the end of the shoot, we take a photograph of each character and each scene so that when the next scene comes, we will make sure that the guy, what he is wearing is the same. This is we call as a continuity mistake. Lots of people do. Unfortunately, even big films today, they do this mistake. If you see one people who are wearing, using these earrings, and the next scene, same continuity of same, she will be wearing a different earrings. These are the very silly mistakes, but the judge will all see this. So guys, kindly make sure that when you do a continuity, do it. And whoever is the director and the assistant director guy have to make sure that this particular costume things, take a photograph, keep in a backup record and go for it. Plan the angles, plan shots, plan the scenes, rehearse the dialogues until you are convinced, then go for it. Also, you can shoot some random shots as well so that you can mix and match. Regarding the cinematography, I don't want to go in detail on that because you might have other session for the cinematography. There are mostly people will be taking a DSLR or the your mobile phone camera, right? Now, what you do is it's a basic shoot. What we do when at the end of the presentation, I'll just share a small link, which is a basic what is required to do a DSLR shoot. Just keep that basic, at least you will not miss things in that. Always you should keep in the 24 frames per second. This is the basic for a shoot for a normal scenario. Until unless if it is a slow motion shot, you should go for a 60 frames. That's different. But another way is always make sure that you keep the setting that's 24 frames per second, 1/50 aperture, ISO, W, RAW, HD. All these are very important settings. I'll share a link. Just make sure you basically check that, shoot. After shooting, download, see it in your monitor, then you will know what exactly is right or wrong on that. And also make sure the lighting, there is no glare, there is no, when you go for a night shoot, okay, a lot of people miss this. You need to make sure the settings for the night shoot is different. You need more light on the lens. In that case, what happens? A lot of grains will be there in your footage. So that's very important to avoid that. Earlier days when I was shooting, I did not have much knowledge on that. I just took a DSLR like you. I just went and shoot in the night times. If you see there is a lot of grains, it looks very ugly. So you need to have enough lighting for that so that it looks very good. Make it very clean, very beautiful. It will be good. And what is important? Your frame, focus, and tripod. If you know that this scene is not going to move, try to keep it in a table or a tripod. Make sure that they focus. The cinematographer's role is very important in each film because he is the one who is going to capture the scene, right? So always you set your frame, okay? The cameraman or cinematographer will know how to check the focus. You keep on a particular face, zoom it across, click the DSLR, and the focus will be set on one particular person. The focus will not move. So otherwise, if you see too much of movement sometime of the person, there will be a blur in each scene. So do the settings properly, do the proper tripod, use the proper tripod, and shoot it. It will be perfect. Make sure that your frame focus is very important. You do the focus and try to keep it on the tripod or in a fixed place, because you try to shoot in the hand, even with the stabilizer on, you will always have a jerk. Until and unless if you have a walking shot, people are walking, and you're using the camera, then you just take it and go along with that. It will give a natural feel. That's a different issue. But in a fixed shot, try to use tripod, or sometimes if it is a lengthy shot, I don't know whether you will have a facility to use a trolley, or we use that. When too much of dialogues happen, to make a beauty of it, what we do is we have a slider or a trolley or a Jimmy Jeep, or you call it. You can use the camera in such a way that slightly you move the camera from here to here. So what happens when the two conversations are happening, when this kind of movement will help you to create a mood of the scene, like people will not lose focus on that. So when you slightly move like this, so this guy is going to communicate, then use a slide on your backside on the other and use in the other. So it's a kind of a mix and match, and then again a fixed tripod shot will create a beauty of that particular dialogue scenes. Always make sure that in a particular scene, because you are going to create something you're not very much aware about, to avoid mistakes, take one scene fully for a day, not a problem. Try to use different shots of same dialogues, long, mid, close. Okay, it will help you and the editor to use it in the editing table. So if there is any error happens, you can always use it. And again, I'm telling this is the head and time space buffer shots. This is very important thing I'm telling you, because again, I learned from my mistake. When you do a frame, when you keep a frame of a shot, okay, we call it a head space. Okay, always 16:9 is the cinematic video. You need to have enough head space on the top and in the bottom, at least, so that when you do the editing, you will get the correct picture. Sometimes what happens, people just go over, in this way. When you do editing, the half head will be cut. This I have faced. Okay, until unless it's a close-up shot, that's a different issue altogether. But I'm talking about a normal scenario. If you do the cutting, now if you see in my video, you can see there's a gap. There's a gap. This is a 16:9 ratio, right? Now imagine when you shoot in this way, and when you go to the editing table, your half head will be gone. It will look very, very odd. So you have to make sure your head space is always there. People make this mistake, so please make sure. Always, again, the time space. What exactly I'm talking about time space? When you say, when the scene is ready, the dialogue is ready, the cinematographer is ready, and the director has to say action, right? What will happen? This action, then the cinematographer will press the record button. Now, it will take 2 seconds to start and go. The dialogue would have gone. You would never know that. Okay, you got this? Time. So what you should do, the cameraman has to switch on the record button, and you can signal it to the director. Director will say action. So there is a time space to cut the scene on the editing table, so that you can connect in the editing properly. So head space and the time space is very, very important, guys. This is lots of people would have done a mistake on this in the past. Kindly make sure that you don't do this time. Okay. And what I say, buffer shots. Buffer shots are sometimes you may require, okay. There might be some picture in the hall or in the sunlight or a mountain or a dog barking or whatever it is. In that particular scene, you might think at that point of time when you are going to do a shoot, you might require that. Just take some shots, random shots with the characters, without the characters, long shots with the blurred shots. Keep it with you. In case if required, you can use that. Now, the most important thing, the last point, again, I have faced this. Clean your lens. Okay. Lots of people what do, including me. Once it happened to me. We went for a shoot in an outdoor. It was late evening. We shot the film. It was over, right? It was an outdoor. The next day, early morning, we had to go for a shoot. Everybody forgot. We were very tired. We shot the scene. Everything was over. All the audience, all the characters left to different parts. When we were about to edit, we saw there are so many sand dots, fog dots in the lens, which was replicating in that particular film. We were gone. I have to reshoot the whole film one more time. So please, guys, the cinematographer has to be very, very sure that your lens are very clean. Every time after you shoot, you make sure that you close the lens and make sure there is no humid, there is no fog in that. After you shoot, before you leave the scene, if possible, kindly download it in your particular laptop or computer. Please see it and then leave. In a smaller screen, you cannot find faults. You can find faults only in a bigger screen. Remember, always have a backup battery charger, couple of memory cards. Again is the experience I'm telling you. What will happen? You go with the memory card. You don't know how many shots you're going to take. All of a sudden, you will feel that, oh my God, what happened? Memory card is over. I don't know what to do now. And let's download it. These kind of issues will have. Please make sure that you have a spare battery charger, spare battery, spare memory card. So kindly don't take any chance after you go to the shoot. What will happen is you go with one good mood to shoot. When you see that this is problem, that's problem, your focus as a team won't work. The scene or the shot will not come. You'll get tensed on that. So kindly make sure that in your planning list on your paper, you make sure that you see that I have a spare memory card, battery, charger, everything. I'm ready with it, right? Okay. And that comes one of the most important craft which we call as editing. You know the scene, you know the dialogues, you know the communication, what is happening on the particular scene. The director and the editor have to make sure that he's trimming off unwanted scene. See, always people feel that if there is a 10-minute short film, I have to always do 10 minutes. No, that's not the case here. What is the message or what is the storyline you're going to convey, right? Whether it is conveyed or not at the end. That's all is required. You may say, okay, my film is completed in 7 minutes. I think I should do more. You keep add on unwanted scenes in that and try to elongate. Ultimately, what will happen? It will be like a mess. Why the director, the judge will feel why these unnecessary scenes are coming, why it is there. This will create your story, what you're going to convey in that particular timeline. Please go for it. Connect the correct scenes, connect the correct, in the method, what happens? This is one of the, see, when you do a shoot, okay? For example, a person is entering from right to the particular scene. A character is walking, okay? And is going out. When you go for the next scene, it has to match. Otherwise, what happens? It will be here, somebody will be here, there will be a mix, we call it a jump cut. It will be, scene will be jumped. So you should make sure that when you do a shoot and when you do a cut, has to be a proper in a line. It should not jump. I hope you got it. And perfectly trim. Trimming is very important in terms of that, so that it go. Use of transitions which is required. In Indian cinema, we love more transitions. Okay, if you go for a Hollywood cinemas, they don't go for transitions. They go for straight cuts, just join, and the story will be going perfect. But sometimes in India, we don't have what to say. We just try to give lots of transitions, right? So make sure that you do that. See, after you, before you go for editing, okay, the very important thing which I'm going to tell you guys, the director has the editing table to make things very faster, right? Once you, let's say you have finished the scene one, okay? The scene one, you have shot in 2-3 days, it doesn't matter, okay? Take day one, Download day 1, day 2, day 3 in a folder called scene 1. Okay, keep it like that. Next, scene 2, keep it in that way. Scene 3, scene 4, you put all the clippings in that. After you open, make sure you open and check every scene, every frame, it is there, right? You know all the folders are perfect. Immediately what you should do before even editing, right? Take a hard drive, store all the folders in the hard drive and keep it separated. Okay? Then make sure this two memory card, you keep it safe also. Okay? I always do that because it's a backup. Now you start using that in your computer for editing. Delete unwanted scene. See what are the errors. If same scene you have shot, take 1, take 2, take 3, take 4. Don't even keep deleting in the spot. Delete in the table. Take 1. Okay, this scene is good. I can use first part in the take 1. Take 2, full scene might not be good. The second half might be good. So you cut on the take 1 first part, take 2 second part, connect it, you get a scene. So any delete, always do it in the editing table. Don't do it on the spot. When you keep doing it, then you might miss it across. Do that, find out the errors, then put the trimming, join, complete scene 1 is ready. Then scene 2, scene 3, scene 4, make it. Then you connect with the transition, or if it is a continuity, just do it. Your whole film is perfectly ready for it. Why did I ask you to keep on the backup on the hard drive? Sometimes when you're using, your system gets corrupted, something goes wrong, the whole work will go blur. It will go for a blast, then you'll get stressed. That's the reason before even doing any editing, kindly make sure that you keep everything in a backup hard drive. Okay, so that is separate, then you do it in editing. Once you are happy with the edit 1, scene 1, keep it in a separate, scene 2, scene 3, scene 4. And storage of the raw and edited files, which I told you, render in the format what the competitors have asked in the competition, what they have asked for. It may be 1080 format or MP format. Render it, keep it ready. And always, when you do go for the competitions, let's say 7 minutes film, okay, including your name, whatever you're going to say, titles, credits. Exactly, you need to complete it 7 minutes or 10 minutes before that, like 5 seconds before that. Never, ever say that 10 minutes, sir, my credit is going for extra 1 minute, sir, can I keep it? Can I keep it, madam? Please don't go for that. You will be disqualified. We ourselves have disqualified many films like that. Even the film was good, you should not go against the rules. Clear? Keep it 10 minutes. Keep it exactly 9 minutes, 45 seconds. Don't go for it. I'm again saying, if it is because 10 minutes, don't go for 10 minutes. If your message of your story has been conveyed, please go for it. Okay. After you do the editing, you always make sure that you have in a 16:9 format, which is cinematic mode. Coloring is very important. I'll just go to show you a small film, which is a silent film, which we have tried as a, in a different genre on a different periods. You could see, if possible, you can see in the different color modes which we have used, so that we are showing the different periods. So make sure that it is a natural in terms of the particular scene. Use the proper coloring. Don't go too jazzy or too black and white. Just go what is required. Okay. And also subtitles. Make sure what is the subtitles format. If at all you're using in a different language, keep it in the below and a good visual presentation, what you have it in the subtitles. Don't go too small. Don't go too big, which comes on your screen. Just make sure that it is in the down and the whole editing is done and your film is done. Use good fonts, stylish font. Nowadays, you get a lot of fonts here nowadays in the internet, free fonts. Use it. Always don't underestimate yourself. Don't underestimate. You always, when you go for a filmmaking, think that you are the best director in the world. You are the best team in the world. You are in the process of a creation, and you are going to be the creators. And don't underestimate yourself. Because when I started a film, first film of mine, which is Manasu, I do not know even ABCD of making a short film. I'm being very genuine with you guys. I just took a camera and went and shot. I won around 15 awards for that film. Then a lot of people started saying, how did you make it? I never knew. I didn't watch any of the film as a references. I didn't do anything. Whatever it is in my mind, I went and shot. Please, it's my personal request. Don't go for this competition to win a prize. This is my humble request. You have come to this competition to become a creator, right? To become an actor, to show your craft. Think on your mind, discuss with your team on angles, shots, everything, and go for it. Once you start looking at the reference of different films, it means automatically, subconsciously, you are going to do an inspiration of different scenes. This is going to help in your future, guys. This filmmaking, I'm telling you honestly. So you have to become a creator. So think your own ideas. Don't watch any references. I have done like that. It's my personal advice. Don't go for any references. Go for it. Shoot whatever I have given a small brief. Think about it and go and shoot. You will find out what you have created yourself. You will be really proud of yourself. Rather than people talking about you have copied from here, you have inspired from there. You yourself will feel that I didn't do anything. I have done something very good, and you should be proud among yourself. You can give a prize for yourself. It's not about people who give and recognize prize for yourself. You should get recognized yourself that I've done something very interesting on it, right? And music and dubbing is very important, guys. And see what you do on the background score. And whoever is having a team of music, if you're you're a natural musician, then go for it. Or in the websites nowadays, you go for a lot of free royalty music is there, right? So download the royalty music and use that and mix and match. Okay, so try to avoid any cinematic existing films. It will look very odd. It will try to influence the film. The judges might not like it. Go for the free downloaded royalty music. Use different types of theme. Try it out whether it matches the mood of the scene. Sometimes silence itself is a music. So you should know as a director and the team where I should use the silence, where I should use the background score, right, guys? And a dubbing mic, and if you are having the facility of dubbing mic, well and good. Or nowadays, even in the phone, you can use your headphone with the mic. You have a high quality app also. When you do the dubbing, if you don't have a facility of a dubbing studio, what you do, go in a very closed environment. Important thing, don't use your air condition, don't use your fan, don't do anything, and switch on the scene, use the phone or the dubbing studio and talk in a very natural methodology what you have acted in the scene. That's it. You will be having in the editing, you can use your volume, mix and match. It will be very beautiful. And I'm sure you're going to rock it. That's it. Just the basic things. These are mistakes normally we do. When I did my dubbing, I didn't care. My fan was on. Did all the dubbing. When I went there, I could see a lot of noise and hissy sound coming out. Okay, guys? So use that. Use the... it's sometimes difficult without the fan and AC, but try for it. You'll get a very good product. I hope you got on the music and the dubbing part. And what do you call as a direction now? All this craft which I was talking about, who is responsible? The captain of the ship we call as the director and the direction. What he has to have? Vision. What am I going to convey as a story? Okay. Make sure that you visualize that. Okay, you visualize. And mission is keep your team ready. My cinematographer, my editor, my musician, my actors, I'm going to execute with this particular scenes, with this particular shots, planning. We call planning is our mission. See, film on the shoot, it will not take time if you have your storyboard, if you're having your planning perfect. As I told you, take a paper, write it down as all the crafts, what is required. Battery backup, charger, scenes, dialogues, properties, artwork, location, angles, lights. For example, when this is the two dialogues, what is the shot? Write down. If for these two dialogues, I'm going to use a wide shot on the corner and I am going to use this lens, this light, this, everything, write it down. So when you go to the shoot, you have the paper ready, keep the light here, keep the light here. Okay, ready, fine, go for it. And that's it. Planning is done, mission. Then you execute it. And the execution part, if planning is ready, everything is fine, then you will execute very smoothly and you can shoot the film without any stress. And the most important execution part is on the editing table. Mostly, I always have a fight with my editor because I am more of a perfectionist, and even a small error or a small mistake, I don't accept it. And make sure that he redoes again, done again and again and again and again. Then make sure that you execute it as a good one proper film. After you do the film, okay, you and your team watch it. Okay, if there is a mistake, admit it, and if possible, redo it. If it is editing or a music or a background or a scene of an error, make sure. See, there are some small mistakes we normally do when you are doing a shoot. Make sure that the background environment area is with that. I have seen myself, I keep the camera cover on the table or a camera bag on the background. And a shoot, imagine when two people are shooting and you have the camera lens cover, unnecessary bag. You have to clear the environment, what is required, go for the shoot. So these are the director has to make sure that whatever he has visualized along with his team, whether it is coming. And always among your team, guys, most important thing is kindly don't have any egos among yourselves. Even as a director. Okay, I'm a director, you have to listen to me. No, don't always go for it. Keep your eyes and ears open. Talk to your team. Okay, if you feel it is right, okay, go for it. But on the particular scene, if the scene is going on, don't try to argue or debate. Whatever argument, debate, go for it on the planning on the stage, on the storyboard stage. Once you are there in the shoot, don't argue. Okay, go for it. And if you feel that sometime on spot you get something or somebody else gets something, after the scene is over, the particular person can go and tell the director, I feel this is good. Can we have it? If the director is happy, team is happy, and keep and shoot and keep it. Nothing wrong in it. And always during the editing, if you feel he's your best friend or whatever it is, you did not act properly, you did not like it, never ever have any kind of a partiality on that. If you don't like it, don't like it. That's it. Your audience is not going to like it. So make sure that you use the mid shot, long shot, mix and match. Even if it is unhappy, it doesn't matter. Right? Go for it and give a beautiful film where you will all will be having the success together. It's a teamwork, guys. If you have an ego, if you have a, if you don't just keep shouting at that particular time, audience, the actors will get vexed. Sometimes they'll get tense, then they cannot act. You have to get the craft the best in a very, very good methodology. If you go and your actors are acting, sometimes they are not born actors, right? You're just going to perform as what you say. You go and shout or yell at them, they're going to get much more nervous, which they're going to show it on the face. So be very casual, be friendly. You can, tell them, this is what I want, guys. And you may sometimes, as a director, sometimes I act and show them, this is what I want. Be very casual, so this is what I want. Okay, be very casual. So whatever scene, be very casual. 4 to 5 times you need to shoot it. Different angles, same dialogue. You need to say, go for it. And actors, again, I'm saying you be very natural. Don't overdo. Don't be hyper during acting. Be very casual. Now, how I'm communicating with you, I'm not shouting. Be very casual. Whatever happening in the normal life, you're going to shoot. That's what you're going to think about it. Okay, go for it, and the whole craft of the film will be fantastic. I hope I have covered most of the points. And in case if any Q&A, you can go for it. I am going to show a silent film after your Q&A. Probably then we can add on. I will show you how the different methodology can happen. If you want, the coordinator can just advise me. Can I show you this 5-minute film to them right now? The Q&A can be later, or the Q&A can be earlier and the film can be later. Just can you please guide me, the coordinator, please?
Good evening, sir. As you wish, sir.
Okay, I'll just show you a small film now. Okay, I'm going to. It's a 5-minute film, which as again I tried myself as a silent joiner. I have never tried a silent joiner. I thought I will have to try it across, and I did this with a different period. The story is very simple, one single line. It's about a father and a son relationship, and where he reminisces about his son in his different periods. Okay, and he's alone. What happens and how the different scenes have been created in a different mood, I wanted to show you. Imagine conveying a film and conveying a story without any dialogues is one of the most difficult part. I'm very happy that the whole team did a very good job, and all my film actors are very new except one. And this is a film which we won French film festival and Estonia film festival. We won this film, but I myself was very happy that I created this film. Okay, I'm going to show this. Then we will talk about we'll go for the Q&A session. Right? Just give me a second. I'll just share this film for you. Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Can you see this?
Yeah, yes, sir. But your screen is frozen, sir. It's not moving.
Uh, 1 second. Let me just.
Yes, sir. Now it is playing. Now it's playing, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I think when I'm sharing, I'm unable to share with the audio. I think audio is not able to get connected. Anyways, I'll share the links in case if they wanted to have a look, they can have a look on it. Not a problem.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
I will post some links where for the cinematography and other things, they can just copy it and keep it. I'll share it in the box so they can have a look on that. And I hope it was good. I believe when any Q&A, you can go for it.
It will be of great help to our students, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
No problem. Guys, you can go for the questions, please.
Thank you, sir. It was truly riveting and exhilarating. All the students present here have surely learned a lot of filmmaking techniques today and will definitely try and use them when making their own film. Dear audience, the floor is now open for you to post your queries in the chat box. It will be answered one by one. Kindly do not repeat the questions. Thank you.
I think you can allow them to talk instead of the chat box, if possible, please. They can raise their hand and probably they can communicate. That would be much better. Is it okay? I mean, there's so many questions just popping up in a very high speed. It's
Sir,
very difficult.
sir, we have a moderator who will be asking those questions to you, sir.
That would be better, please.
Yeah, okay, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Now, let's move on to the queries from our audience. Sir, the first question for you. What do you mean by render?
Render is, yeah, once you do the shoot, okay, you need to download everything in a format which is like MP4 format, MOV format. We render means we convert that particular file in a format which is applicable for the competition. Sometimes they will say on the MOV format or MP4 format, which is the general. So you need to render or convert your raw files or the video files into that particular format. So you need to render that. We call it in a cinematography way. Okay.
Thank you, sir. So the next question for you. Which software is used for dubbing?
See, it's a normally it is a different softwares are available. If you see it in Adobe, is a commonly used, or in Mac we use it, and it's a mix and match software. So you can see it, you can available. You have to download it in the editing only. You need to find the correct editor to do all that kind of dubbing stuff.
Thank you, sir. The next question for you. Is it advisable to use cell phones for shooting a film?
I think there are a couple of questions on the same way. See, make sure that you have a very good camera. Even I have shot a film in iPhone also myself. Okay, it's you can get a good stuff. What happens in iPhone? It's a fixed frame. Most of them. I don't know about the recent iPhones, but the old ones, 10, 11, and all that, you have a fixed lens, so you can shoot in only one particular frame. You can't use a different close-ups or other things. In a DSLR, what happens? You can shoot in a different lenses, different. We call it a raw format. When you shoot in a raw format, if you see in my earlier film, there is a different color tones used on a different period. Okay, in an iPhone or in a fixed color, it will be one common color. You can't change the color. We call it a color grading. So when you shoot in a raw format, which is raw, where you can use a different colors, black and white, and a monochrome or recent colors, you can mix it up. That's the reason I showed that particular film. If you see, there are different periods of that film where we used a different color tone. So when the person sees, oh, this is that period, 1960s, oh, this is 1940s, oh, this is 2022. People by visually they can find out. We don't need to tell them or convey them. That's what very important on that. And also in the film, if you have a look, I have used different cameras on the different period. So the audience are conveyed, oh, these guys have gone to that period, they have used a box camera, then the old camera, then the new camera. So that's the story, which in a subtle mode, which we are saying, the father who had a passion of a camera and who has been shooting the son in a different period, when he becomes old, the son comes as a surprise with the latest version of the camera he likes. That's the story which we said in the bond of love. Okay, so guys, that's it. Very important. You can shoot, but you cannot have a different color grading in that particular format. I don't know about the latest iPhone. It might have a raw format, but whatever I know, it will be on a fixed color format. Go ahead, guys.
Thank you, sir. Sir, could you suggest some techniques for filming documentaries?
See, documentary, whether it is allowed in your short film competition, I'm not sure about it. Okay. Normally in Indian school competitions, the documentaries are not accepted. I feel so. If it is there, documentary is about a story which it is kind of a narrative format where you're going to talk about the particular scene, right? In a short film, normally it's a storyline which you need to say in a different scene format and convey the story to the audience. That is a short film. Documentary is a complete subject, different subject on the short films. Yeah. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Sir, the next question for you. Is it possible to shoot from one location?
I didn't, what is it? One location.
Yes, sir.
See, it's not depending upon what is the storyline you are going to create. Now, for if we see the film which I showed you, it's only one location, but it has a different multiple location in different place. But when you shoot in one location means it will become a monotonous. It is very difficult to convey a story in one location until and unless your storyline is very strong. But you need to play around with the different shots. Different, when I say shot and scene in angle, camera can be here on the side and the top. You need to create a magic in terms of angles so that the audience judge doesn't get bored. Otherwise, it will become monotonous. After 2 minutes, they'll get bored what he is going to say, and they will just close the film. Okay, you need to impress in the first 2 to 3 minutes of the film. It's not a feature film where you go with different kind of a narratives and come to the story. Here, you have to be point bang on. Next 2 minutes, the judge has to know this is the story he is going to convey. Be on point blank. Okay, guys, go for it.
Thank you, sir. So the next question for you. What is Randa 750 format?
No, okay. Normally, whatever you see in the film, it is a HD format, which is we say as a full HD, which is 1080 format. Normally, if you see in your competition rules also, I'm sure that they will ask for a 1080 HD format. So kindly make sure that you render in the 1080. Even when you shoot, go for the 1080 with the 24 frames per second.
Thank you, sir. So the next question is, please suggest some tips for recording in phone.
What is that?
Sir, please suggest some tips for recording in phone.
See, very simple. As I told you, whatever if you see in the presentation, in a phone, you have to set up the full HD format, 1920 into 108, 16:9 ratio, and go for it. Most of the people might not have got facilities to dub. In that case, you need to make sure that you have a noiseless environment and go with the live recording of audio. Okay, in that time, you don't require any dubbing, you just require a background score mixing. But you have to be very, very careful when you do a shoot. On the indoor, you won't have a problem. Okay, but in the external area, you will have a lot of noise. The editor will be a very difficult for him to suppress the background noises. The dialogues will not be able to listen. My first film was on the live recording. We felt very difficult to do a recording. Or you have if you are going to use a DSLR, you have a mic also along with the wire. You can connect the mic along with the wire, keep it close to the dialogue people who are going to do the acting. You can keep close by that. Okay, in a phone you can go for it, but always remember in phone you have only fixed shots and you cannot do much of a color grading, right?
Thank you, sir. Sir, is it possible to shoot without makeup and subtitles?
See, which is the language you're going to shoot. Again, it's all depending upon the competition, right? In the competition, if they say that you have to use the subtitles if you are in a different language, for example, somebody speaks Arabic, somebody speaks Tulu, somebody speaks Tamil, the judge might not be able to go for understand that, right? So you might have to go for the subtitles because you're going to convey something. If it is a silent film, it's okay. But it would be advisable to have subtitles in case if it is non-English.
Thank you, sir. So the next question, is it possible to dub a movie without shooting at home? After shooting at home?
Sorry, I didn't get your...
Sir, is it possible to dub a movie after shooting at home?
Dubbing is always after the movie only, okay? It's always after the movie. You need to have a good editor who has the knowledge. See, there is a lot of articles available in terms of the dubbing and, editing. Free editing tool is there. Free dubbing tool is there. Free editing is there. Everything is available online free now, okay? Do some research and you will get everything to it. And after you shoot, and then do the dubbing, how to mix the dubbing audio file into your video is also there. That is what happens in the editing software. In the editing software, what you do, whatever you do the music background score and the dubbing, you keep as a layer in your video, you can mix it with the film. Please read about the editing softwares available in online free, you can have it. Okay, guys?
Thank you, sir. Sir, what is meant by 16:9 in editing?
There is a lot of format, okay, and if whatever films you are seeing now in universally worldwide, it's a 16:9 format. Now, if you see my screen, it's a 16:9 format. That's a format universally people use for watching films. That's why when after you do the film, during the shoot or during the editing, during the rendering, make sure that you do it in the 16:9 format. It's a format. It's a rectangle format, 16:9.
Thank you, sir. So the next question is, are we allowed to use drone shots?
Drone generally in Muscat, you need to take a lot of permissions and things like that. And I think being school students, I don't think so you should go for it. It's slightly risky here because there's a lot of approval required by ROP and things like that. So kindly try to avoid drone shots in the externally. Okay.
Thank you, sir. So what is the best way to depict a mind voice?
See, mind voice is always you will have a dubbing voice. So if you're going to stare at a person and you say that, I will look after you later, that's what you're going to convey, right? Sometimes even a stare to the person, just like that, and if you look at that, keep a silence. And once you do the dubbing, you can go for the dialogue on the background. People will say that's the mind voice, which is being told in that. So the actor has to be very important what he's trying to convey. During his acting also, if he's going to say a dialogue, I will see you later, he have to say that in his heart, in his mind. Always we say that whatever you do acting in the heart, it will show it on your face. So you have to say that even though you don't have the dialogue, you tell the dialogue among yourself in your heart, the face will convey the message to the audience. Always don't be blank, even there's a silence in a silent dialogue or a mind dialogue.
Thank you, sir. Sir, which is better for shooting, DJI or DSLR camera?
See, DSLR is the best, okay? Always best, but you need to know some tips and tricks. I'm going to share you the links. You can have a look. If you read it once, you can just go by yourself, do the DSLR settings. It's easy to do that. Or you can go to the YouTube, a lot of YouTube videos are available, how to shoot in a DSLR or how to shoot in an iPhone 11 or 12. Just mark down the settings, what they do. Keep the settings ready, go for a shoot. That's it.
Thank you, sir. So the next question is, what do you mean by RAW format and what are its benefits?
See, RAW format in DSLR or any films, they use the RAW format. When you go for a settings, DSLR setting, there are so many formats. As I told you earlier, RAW format gives you an advantage to do a different types of a color tone to the film. A black and white monochrome color. When you do it in the editing, you can see when in the RAW format, you do the yellow color, it will become very beautiful yellow. When you go for a black and white, it will go for a good black and white. And if you do, for example, do a shoot in a yellow kind of a mode in iPhones or in any Samsung phone, it will come as a yellow light. If you do a black and white on the top of the yellow, it will have a difference. That's why we always shoot in the raw format.
Thank you, sir. Sir, could we include our family members for shooting in ISFF short films, or should we include only the participants?
I think you should ask this question to the organizers, because I'm not part of the organizing committee. I'm just here to just share my experience and just help you to make the short films.
Thank you, sir. Sir, is it better to shoot in third-person POV or first-person POV?
Honestly, I don't understand this question. See, the point of view of shoot, this is what I said when I was narrating about the angles and the shots. When two people are communicating, the point of view shots, this is what we call as mid shot or the point of view shots, right? When the dialogue is communicating, always, so you mean to say point of view is the mid angle. You can have a common shot on the side angle shot, which is a third person point of view, which is audience point of view. And again, after that, don't keep this point of view always. Immediately shift to your single point of view from here to the other person. Then go to the other person and shoot. Like, for example, somebody is communicating, right? And the other person is responding. So you need to take that shot of responding also. Then only the editor can play around. If you just keep on saying the guy is doing a dialogue, you just keep this one point of view, then it will become monotonous, right? So you need to have response also. You need to shoot on the both point of view and the third point of view, right?
Thank you, sir. Sir, could you suggest some apps for editing?
See, there are so many apps. It is not app, we call it as a software. Most common use is Adobe. That's what most of the people use. But nowadays, I think there are, for a student, there are many softwares available on a free. You can, try it across in the Google, you can search it. Always try it out, do some shoot, download the software and do an edit and see. Fine.
Thank you, sir. Sir, the next question is it possible to include local interviews in documentaries?
Again, in terms of organizing point of view, I'm not sure about the documentaries. So you kindly check with the organizers about the documentaries, please. Anything else?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So the next question is, what is more important in short films, audio or video?
See, it's a medium, which I told you. It's a combination of both. Mainly, it's a visual medium. Audio adds a flavor in it. Okay, without the audio, video cannot work until unless the content is so good. You can have only the visual with the background score, which I just showed you a film. I'm going to share that as well, right? You can have a scene, so that will give an idea. Silent film, what does it convey? Dialogue film, what does it convey? All that you can have a look on it.
Thank you, sir. So
Yep.
the next question is, how to take shoulder shots in front of the mirror? How do we concentrate only on one person and leave out camera?
See, you need to again keep the angle in a different methodology. You need to hide your camera in such a way that the camera is not exposed to the mirror, and you can allow the mirror to shoot. Okay. Sometimes there are VFX technologies, but it's very too high for you guys to go for the VFX. But you can keep a side angle, and you can hide the camera on the behind, and you can use the mirror on the front. Okay. And use the lens accordingly. If you're using the DSLR, then you can definitely use the mirror shot on that. Okay.
Sir, the final question is, can we have many short stories in a short film?
I don't think so. It's a good idea because you are going to say a short film. I have a duration, and you have to go ahead with one story and what you're going to say. If you say too many stories, it is not a short film, right? You can have multiple stories which can connect to a film, which is assembled as a film, right? That's a different concept. But for that, a short film of a duration of 8-9 minutes is very difficult. Normally, when a feature film, what they do is they go with 3-4 stories, but it will happen in a different place, different location, but at the end, it will come and connect in one point of a film. There's a movie in Tamil called Vanam, which is something like that. But in a short film, go for one story, convey it very neatly.
Once again, thank you, sir, for the informative presentation. I would now request Khalida Simona, Assistant Coordinator, Co-Curricular, to propose the vote of thanks. Over to you, Khalida.
Thank you, Sona. Resource person for today, Mr. Tasleem Khan, Honorable Chairman, Board of Directors of Indian Schools in Oman, esteemed Directors of the Board of Directors of Indian Schools in the Sultanate of Oman, President, Indian School Muscat Management Committee, Vice President, Convener, Treasurer, Co-Convener, and esteemed members of Indian School Muscat Management Committee, principals of all participating schools, our Honorable Principal, Dr. Rajiv Kumar Chauhan, Senior Vice Principal, Administration, Vice Principals, Assistant Vice Principals, Heads of Departments, teachers, parents, and my dear friends. As we come to the end of a wonderful session, I would like to express our gratitude to each and everyone behind the grand success of this session. On behalf of Indian School Muscat, let me first express our profound gratitude to His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq and his government for the noble benevolence and generosity showered on the Indian community in the Sultanate of Oman. May the Almighty shower His abundant blessings on His Majesty and this wonderful nation. On behalf of Indian School Muscat, I extend a very hearty vote of thanks to our speaker, Mr. Tasleem Khan. We sincerely appreciate the time and effort you took to conduct such an enriching session for us. Thank you, sir. We place on record our gratitude and profound appreciation to the Honorable Chairman and esteemed directors on the Board of Directors of Indian Schools, Sultanate of Oman, for their constant support and encouragement. Thank you, sirs and ma'ams. A heartfelt gratitude to Honorable President, Vice President, Convener, Treasurer, Co-Convener, and other members of the Indian School Muscat Management Committee for their encouraging presence. Thank you, sirs and ma'ams, for gracing this occasion. I extend our sincere gratitude to the principals of all the participating schools for encouraging and motivating students to participate in today's workshop. Thank you, sirs and ma'ams. A heartfelt gratitude to the head of the institution, Dr. Rajiv Kumar Chauhan, for his motivation, vision, competent guidance, and support at all times. Thank you, sir. We place on record our sincere thanks to Senior Vice Principal Administration, Vice Principals, Assistant Vice Principals, heads of various departments, and teachers for their wholehearted support and fervent cooperation throughout. Thank you, sirs and ma'ams. I deem it my privilege to thank all the students for their active participation during the entire session. A big thank you to you all. We sincerely appreciate the IT team that made possible a glitch-free screening of the session and for facilitating us at all junctures with their support. Thank you, sirs and ma'ams. Last but not the least, I express my sincere gratitude to all those who have worked behind the scene and whose names I might have missed. Once again, thank you one and all. Over to you, Afaf.
Thank you, Khalida. Thank you all for being a great audience. Have a pleasant evening. You're requested to kindly leave the Zoom meeting before switching off your gadgets.